Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Yesterday, attorney John Deaton interviewed Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Graywell live, and the interview went on for maybe a little less than 45 minutes, and I was actually listening to it live. I'm not always able to do that due to other life obligations, including work, for example, but I was actually able to listen while I was out walking my pet peeve in a park. Local park. And for those of you who are unaware, my pet peeve is my 8-year-old terrier mix. She's the best dog in the entire planet. That's just a little fun fact for you. So we were walking along, and I'm listening to this, and it was a fantastic interview. Very interesting, very engaging. I like the spirit of it. There's one thing that bothered me, and I think it bothered most people who were listening in the XRP community, because the chief legal officer of Coinbase asked an important question, certainly important to us here in the XRP community. He was asked a question by attorney John Deaton, and he just dodged it. He just blatantly dodged it. So I'm going to share with you thoughts on this, and I'm going to run through some of the specifics that he actually said. It's quoted in an article from the Crypto Basic. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And I do want to be clear right out the gate here that I'm just offering commentary on this because that's what I do in this channel. I share news, and then I offer commentary because I really think it's fun to talk about all this stuff. So even though I am offering a critique here, it's really the only critique that I can think of off the top of my head that's even worthwhile discussing, because you know, the important thing to note here is that even though I'm going to highlight this critique, if you listen to this interview, which again went on for I think almost 45 minutes, it was fantastic, and it showed certainly a sort of unity between Paul Graywell, Chief Legal Officer, and if he's really speaking on behalf of like how the other executives at Coinbase feel, it does feel as though the executives at Coinbase are by and large on the same team as us here on the XRP community. And so, you know, John Deaton, I think, is on the same team as Paul Graywell. I'm on the same team. Probably most of you listening are on the same team, because the point is we need to push back against the SEC. That is the point. We are all under attack here, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're an investor. Pick it. If you're involved in crypto, you know, what you've got going on is at serious risk, thanks to the likes of Kim Jong-Ginzer. So, and with the nature of this interview, you know, I wasn't expecting by any means to be some sort of hard grilling against Paul Graywell. That would have been weird. You know, so John Deaton did not do that. He asked questions that perhaps would have made, you know, some you might think could perhaps have made Paul Graywell feel uncomfortable, but attorney John Deaton asked him was nothing but respectful. And there's just this one where he just dodged the question, and it was on the topic of, okay, so you delisted XRP after the SEC sued Ripple, but why is it that you didn't delist, for instance, Algorand when the SEC claimed that Algorand and many other cryptocurrencies are securities? And I'll get to some of the, because this article did kind of quote the specifics, but I'll just tell you at the outset, he absolutely did not answer the question. That's the only thing that bothered me, but the rest of it, honestly, like everything that he said, and then because he was also talking about, hey, yes, we're very serious about, of course, and I'm paraphrasing, but obviously we're very serious about, you know, once there's a final decision in the SEC v. Ripple case, we'll absolutely revisit relisting XRP on the exchange. And I think that's to their benefit. Like, I think they'd like to do it. I think a leading reason they delisted it in the first place was the fact that they would have risked their IPO occurring had they not done it. So I can understand the tough position that they're in. And I don't blame Coinbase for delisting XRP, just to be clear. And if you feel differently, that's fine. I respect your perspective. If you think that they are to be hated for that, that's fine. I don't feel that way, though. They were put in a tough spot. But here's the thing. When it comes to XRP being delisted, you know, I'm trying to think through why, given that he wouldn't answer, he absolutely dodged the question. So I'm sitting here thinking, why is it that Coinbase would delist XRP but not the other coins? Well, one of the reasons I just said a second ago was that, you know, XRP, what, you're going to risk the whole IPO, you know, and think about it, December 2020, and then the IPO happens in April, ultimately 2021. You're going to risk that whole thing not going through because You're not going to halt the trading or delist XRP. You're going to risk that whole thing. Because it could happen, because keep in mind, the SEC had to approve the IPO. So, now you see the SEC attacking every other coin under the sun, specifically calling out Algorand and Dash. Those are two cryptocurrencies I hold that I just found out the SEC has decided are securities. But in those instances, and I wonder, is this why? In those instances, they didn't go after any developer building on top of those blockchains or the creators. They did not. They went after an exchange, and I think it was Bittrex that I think that's the lawsuit in which they cited that those are securities. So is there some difference, between going after Ripple, which they're claiming, is at the heart of all things XRP, versus an exchange, which is just helping, facilitate transactions? Is that somehow less bad? I'll just tell you, not having a legal background, just as a layperson, I do not see a material difference. If the SEC says XRP is a security and they say Algorand's a security, I don't care who they sue when they make that point. It's the same point. If there's a legal perspective I'm aware of, somebody can just pop and just fill in the blank there. I haven't seen that articulated. So I acknowledge that different types of entities are being sued, but so what? The end result is those coins are being called securities. That is the bottom line here. So why is it that Coinbase did it? Well, we don't know, because Paul Graywell, and nothing against him personally, I like the vast majority of what he said. So this is not some sort of attack on him. I'm just offering commentary, because this is the one thing where I'm just sitting there like, why couldn't you just answer? And I'm not the only one that's thinking this way. If you hop on social media, there's all sorts of people that are just like, ugh. And John Deaton, by the way, he did respond to that, because there's somebody that and I'll pull it up towards the end of the video, but somebody was asking John Deaton, okay, well, why didn't you push back when Paul Graywell dodged the question? I'll show you what John Deaton said, but let me do this, in a particular order here. So this article reads as follows. Let me do the headline first. Coinbase legal officer speaks on why Algo, not delisted like XRP, calls for unity. And again, we can all get behind the calls for unity. Paul Graywell, the chief legal officer at Coinbase, recently spoke on the exchange's decision to retain trading activities for Algorand, despite the US SEC characterizing it as a security and the charges brought on Bittrex. The fact that Coinbase delisted XRP for this reason, but has not done the same for Algo, has raised questions. In a recent interview on a Crypto Law episode, these questions were posed to Graywell by attorney John Deaton. In the interview, Deaton highlighted the confusion among XRP proponents concerning Coinbase's approach to reviewing listing decisions. Graywell had confirmed that secondary sales of assets do not constitute securities. In response, Deaton noted that Graywell's argument regarding secondary sales also applies to XRP. Deaton further said, and this is a quote, XRP was suspended, and then we see a case against Bittrex where the SEC says Algo is also security. And, of course, there isn't a suspension of that. Do you understand where, as XRP holders, they get frustrated or even angry that they are penalized? Not that anyone wants you to delist or suspend Algo, just what's your thought? End quote. Yeah, and so for me, I'm definitely not angry. I'm just noting the inconsistency. That's pretty much it. I'm not angry. They may have a totally legit business reason that we, just members of the public, are not aware of. And maybe we'd agree with it even. Maybe we wouldn't. I don't know. Because we don't know what it is. It hasn't been articulated here. But it's a totally fair question. And I'm on the same side. I don't want all these other coins to be delisted. That's not the point. I hold Algo. I absolutely hold Algo and Dash and a bunch of other cryptocurrencies. And anything that the SEC claims is security, I don't want Coinbase to then run to delist it. That's not going to help me or you or anybody in the crypto space, so that's not the point. We're just trying to understand where the inconsistency comes in, which is a totally legit question, which is why attorney Deaton asked it. And again, I don't blame Deaton for not pushing back. That's not the type of situation that we're in here. The point is to be working together, not to bat your friend over the head, just for dodging a question. Like we're in a different environment where it's just like, no, we're gunning against the SEC effectively, pushing back against them. And so the piece continues. Responding to the inquiry, Graywell disclosed that he understands the XRP community's frustration regarding the situation. Quote, I understand where folks are coming from, and I also understand where it can feel like there's a double standard that's been applied in a variety of circumstances, end quote. So think about that. He was asked, okay, why, effectively, Deaton was asking, why the inconsistency? Delisted XRP, but not Algo, what gives? And his response is, I understand where it can feel like there's a double standard that's been applied in a variety of circumstances. He didn't say why. He's just acknowledging, yeah, I can understand why people feel like these assets are being treated completely differently. And then he just doesn't explain the reason why. And I was just like, I was waiting as he kept speaking, because it started to get to like this word salad type of thing, where he's just going into all sorts of different ideas and the unity and pushing back. And I can agree on all of those things. That's fine. But as he continued to talk, I was like, this is what politicians do. I was like, he's not going to answer the damn question, is he? So, and again, nothing against him personally. I'm just providing commentary, like, because this is actually what I was thinking in real time as I was walking my pet peeve at a local park. A very beautiful sunny day out. And so I won't say that this completely steamed my vegetables, but maybe there's like a partial steaming of the vegetables, something like that. It's like par cooked. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Peace continues. Graywell further noted that law and circumstances evolve, citing SEC chairperson Gary Gensler. He emphasized that Coinbase is committed to applying the law and standing up for the rule of law for everyone, which includes XRP holders. According to him, this is why Coinbase filed an amicus brief in Ripple's favor last November. And here's a quote from Graywell. The main point for all of us is that this is a team sport we need to play. We're up against the most well-resourced adversary on the entire planet. That's the U.S. government in the form of the SEC, end quote. Yeah, exactly, totally agree, which is why I don't feel like, some people feel differently, and okay, fine, we're all entitled to our opinions, but to the people that think that, this should have been John Deaton beating Graywell over the head, metaphorically speaking, I'm just like, whatever, just screw the SEC, just give the Graywell guy a pass. It's just, I wish he would have answered it. I don't feel as strongly as some other people out there. Yes, it would have been great to get a direct answer. He didn't want to give it, and plus, even if Deaton did ask again, to be honest, the probable outcome is that he would have still not answered. He would have found a new way to not answer, because that's typically what people do when they don't want to answer questions. I mean, sometimes they will, but I'm just saying. And at the end of the article, they note the following, and the author of this article writes, despite Graywell's recent comments on why Coinbase has not delisted algo as it did with XRP, proponents have noted that they are still in the dark. The XRP community has claimed that the Coinbase CLO avoided giving a direct answer to the question. Well, that's because that's fact. That is literally what happened. So let me get into the part now where Attorney Deaton was posed the question, why didn't you push back a little bit harder? Now, I've already said what I think about it. I think Attorney Deaton did a great job. I still like, Graywell. We're on the same team here. I'm just offering open, honest thoughts here. So this is a critique I have. I do have a critique of this, but I don't feel like intense anger or frustration over it. I don't like it, but is what it is. And so this is where this jumped in. And I have to briefly mention, to properly cover this, something that was of topic a couple days ago, and I made a video about this the other day. There's this guy named Jason Calacanis, and he does not like XRP. And he stated that XRP is obviously a security. I don't want to get in that whole thing again. I made a lengthy video kind of breaking down the specifics and sharing thoughts from myself and many others, including attorneys. But the conversation on the topic of this video picked up in the thread on this story. And so I'll just note the following. John Deaton did respond to that, and this is on the other topic, but I actually hadn't covered this yet. And this is where this all stems from anyway. So Attorney Deaton responded to this Jason Calacanis guy, and he said, claiming Ripple sold XRP as a security is one thing. Saying XRP is a security is another. XRP is a line of code inside software. How do you register? Quote, to have registered it as a security and played by the rules like everyone else, end quote. Because that's what Jason said there. And so then Deaton says, where did ETH, Cardano, Algo, Stellar Lumens, etc. register? Exactly. So Jason's saying, everyone else played by the rules. I'm sorry, what? What cryptocurrencies registered? Almost zero. Almost zero. Okay? And then in response to that, somebody in the community named Crypto Knight wrote, John, you let Paul off the hook. So he's talking about Paul Graywell, Coinbase Chief Legal Officer. John, you let Paul off the hook with his non-answer to why there's a double standard with Algo. Wish you would have pressed him on what's the difference here. And then Attorney Deaton says, respectfully, can you answer why Ripple isn't listing XRP within Liquidity Hub? I get why people are upset, but Coinbase, Kraken, Ripple, etc. are not the enemy. Let's be objective. If Ripple doesn't list XRP in a product offering, are we going to equally be mad at them? Which is a totally fair question, because I think there are a lot of people out there in the community, probably some of you listening to this, who are mad at Coinbase for delisting XRP. I've been consistent from the beginning. I've never been mad at Coinbase. I totally get it from a business perspective. You can go back to my videos from, I guess it would have been probably late 2020, because I think the news Coinbase was going to delist dropped. It might have been like December 28th of 2020 or somewhere around there anyway. If not, then beginning part of 2021. But the point is, I've always felt the same on this. I don't blame them. And so similarly, with Ripple not listing XRP in Liquidity Hub for legal reasons, because I think it would weaken their case, if anything, if they were listing it. Well, I don't blame them one bit for that either. They're waiting for legal clarity. So, I'm certainly consistent on that. And I see why John Deaton brought that up, because there are a lot of people that do not feel the same as me. And that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinions, like I keep saying. But, separate from that, I'm still sitting here going, yes, and I totally get why John Deaton's pointing out what he's pointing out. I'm just sitting here thinking, though, we still don't know why there is this inconsistency. And I don't know, maybe part of it also is that Coinbase, they, as I've noted in the past, have been quite linguini-spined. And they have more recently shown to have developed something resembling a backbone. So maybe maybe part of it's also they just realize, well, if we just keep delisting everything that the SEC says is a security, we're not going to have a damn company. So I don't know if they were just in part appeasing, and especially with the IPO. But even Attorney Deaton said that in this interview the other day, he's like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to the effect of, I think probably 90% of attorneys in a similar situation would have advised that XRP should be delisted. And that sounds about right. So again, I don't like that XRP is delisted. I don't like it any more than you, but I understand it. So I don't know, man. We're probably just never going to get an answer. But again, I don't want algo delisted. So I guess I'll just take the inconsistency and live with it, because don't really have a choice anyway here. But again, just focus on the bigger picture at hand here, which is the SEC is effectively the devil, and we need to fight back against Kim Jong-Gitzer. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.